hot outside, man.
So we back for another one. First one I did, I interviewed one of my friends, good friends from high school. Second interview I did, I interviewed a good friend of mine from work. But this one is a little bit more important because not only do I get to interview this man to my right who's doing great things in the community, especially in the times that we are in now, with especially in the black community. But it's my bro, like this is my boy. Like we go back, what?
Oh man, I don't want to put no numbers on it. People still think I look young.
Yeah, we go back a little bit longer than a decade, and we've been on the field together, we bled together, we cried together, and it's just an honor to actually interview one of my boys about what am I doing, what I'm trying to bring into life. So everybody, I want you to please give me a good welcome to Mr. Vernard Abrams.
Hey, thanks, man, and I'm excited to be here. So you have a great thing going, by the way.
Yeah, I'm trying. So the first thing we're going to do is, I know that a lot of people don't know, well, Vernard runs a youth. Well, actually, no, go. You talk about what exactly do you do?
All right, so it kind of started off, they say the best things kind of start from passion. So back in the day, when I was playing football, I didn't get recruited. Mm-hmm. So I needed somebody to help me get recruited. I ended up going to a smaller school. I did well, played some arena football, played overseas.
Before he goes, we need to get film. The only quarterback I know to score a 70-yard touchdown on a QB sneak.
That's true.
No, a QB sneak right up the gut. Crazy. I'm sorry, I just had to put that out.
No problem. What happened was I ended up missing out on a lot, and I didn't have somebody saying, look, you need to send your film out, you need to call coaches, you need to email coaches. So that was a whole part of my life that I thought could have been a little bit different. Right. Not that I regret anything, but it could have been, much better. I could have went to bigger school, played at a higher level, but it was all good. I had a great experience from it. And so what I did when I got finished playing was, I was like, you know what? I needed that when I was coming up. So why not start something where I can help the kids from my area, from my community, to get into bigger schools, to help them develop their skills. So I started a nonprofit called the Philly Football Movement, and it was awesome. I was doing camps, I was training guys for little to no money, and it was guys from my area. So I helped them to get into college, and I was doing like 7-on-7 teams, which
I did some research on you too. Shout out to Price Street.
Oh, Price Street, 1100 block, baby. That's where I learned how to play football. I had buddies there. In the same situation, like we could have played at bigger places, but we didn't have anybody to show us the way.
Right.
So that's what the Philly Football Movement was, bringing exposure to the Philadelphia area. And since then, I started in 2010, and it's just been growing. Yeah, Philly Football Movement, like that was my nonprofit. So I started that, but what I did was I attached it to my company now, which is Athletes Creating Excellence, or ACE QBs and wide receivers.
Right.
So I have the nonprofit part is getting kids exposure to colleges and getting them to camps and things like that for kids that can't afford it. And then I have another aspect or piece where I'm training guys to showcase their full potential when they get to camps.
Right. So my Q&A is going to target about entrepreneurs, because I want to bring more awareness to not only, the black community, our own communities, but just our generation in general, about what it's about being an entrepreneur. And this is what I'm doing. I'm interviewing people I know from networking, talking to different people, and trying to make, light of that. And you are a prime example of what an entrepreneur is, even though you run a nonprofit and you go to more of like a football-based system. At the end of the day, it's still a business.
Absolutely.
So,
and the Philly Football Movement is the nonprofit aspect,
right. And
my LLC, my incorporation, is ACE, quarterback and wide receiver.
Right.
So I actually did, I do have those two aspects playing the role.
So as we, I want to pick your brain a little bit. And I always ask the first question. My first question for any entrepreneur is, and this is going to be an easy one.
I'm nervous.
No, don't be nervous. It's an easy one. It's an easy one. So the really is just, what was the passion? What sparked you to want to be what you are right now? And I gauge it as an entrepreneur, but I think in your case you're a little bit different because you've loved football since day one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, after I graduated college and I started to like look for things that I wanted to do. My degree was in marketing, so piecing that together with the football thing, and I'm like, you know what? I can probably do this as a business. And when I had my nonprofit and I was taking kids to camp, parents and coaches were like, why don't you train people?
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea. You know what I mean? And I think everybody's dream is to work for yourself, to set your own hours and things like that.
Do what you love.
Yeah, and to piece together those two things, to do football, what I love to do, and my own business, I think it was the perfect match. And I'm so passionate about helping the kids that it's almost like it's not a job.
It's not. Yeah.
So I'm in a really good position, and I want to make sure that if I can, give any advice to anybody out there from what I do, please contact me.
Definitely. Good stuff. So as you were going through that process, you said it's been 6 years. So why don't you tell us, what were your highest wins and your low points? Oh,
that's tough. All right. Well, my high points. Actually, I'll start with my low points. I'm a half full kind of guy, so I'll get the bad stuff out of the way. The low point, to be completely honest, when you're doing something different and people start noticing it, you start to get people from your area, around your age, maybe older or younger or whatever, they start to question, why is he getting attention?
Right.
Why is this guy, I know him, why is he getting acknowledged for this and that? And that was really a low point, because I started to question myself, like, am I good enough to be working with a kid, and him putting his development in my hands? And I started questioning myself, because the high point was me getting enough self-confidence that I didn't care when people were talking about me. Right. And it was like people were trying to get attention, so I just left it alone, and I just kept doing it, grinding away. And I got the satisfaction from kids going to college,
right,
from parents saying, oh, my son loves you, he loves working with you, and I love the guys I work with too. So, you know what I mean? Like, having that in my life, it allowed me to just overlook anything that I felt was negative towards me. So, and it still happens, unfortunately. Yeah, positive vibes. I tweet it all the time.
Yeah.
I tell my quarterbacks and my receivers, like, look, you got to have a positive mindset. If you want to be as good as you can be, you can't worry about the outside noise, because you're going to hear it. So if you start doubting yourself, then you're not going to be as good as you can be.
So my next question actually gets into Twitter and social media and stuff like that. So if you want to go ahead and give a shout out to your Twitter.
At I am Coach Abe, like Abe Lincoln. I am Coach Abe. That is my personal Instagram and my personal Twitter. And the business one is Ace, QB, and wide receiver. So check us out. I put up videos of guys training. I put up, positive messages. Anything I do, camps, with professionals or things like that, I put that all out there. So
cool.
Check me out.
So going with that social media aspect, if there was like a hub, and I mean, you know how Facebook is a giant right now.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's on Facebook. Everybody's on Facebook, from businesses to entrepreneur groups to food,
mm-hmm,
everywhere, which way you want to go. But if there was something just for entrepreneurs, would you consider yourself being part of that group, and would you go to that kind of like centralized forum to kind of bounce ideas off other folks, because even though you're in the football space, you can still learn from other businesses and how they run, their other businesses.
Right. So you're saying if I had to choose one social media platform?
Not even just choose a social media platform, in essence, like forget Instagram, forget, Snapchat and all that, but if it was particular for entrepreneurs, like it was the group itself, like the whole social media, you know, whatever you want to call it, Entrepreneur X app was just for, you know, business owners and those inspiring to become entrepreneurs. You know, when you first started, would that have been something that, what do you think would have helped you on your journey?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, you have so many questions. It's tough. It's tough being an entrepreneur. I mean, I know you hear all the motivational speakers and stuff like never give up, but it's tough when you live the real life and you're struggling to do this X, Y, and Z, and then this falls on top of you and that falls on top of you, and you got to keep going. So you definitely need somebody to kind of be there, like, look, you're going to run into this hurdle.
Right.
You know, you're going to have this high that you can't get too high up on because something else might not be as good coming behind that, and then you got to look out for that. So there's a lot of things that I feel like if there was one hub for entrepreneurs that if I could ask a question, or, you know, if I can go there, post a video and say, hey, what do you guys think about this? And then people would get back to you. That'd be awesome. Yeah. So you need to work on it.
I'm on it.
You shouldn't be telling people your secret, bro.
Yeah. I'm on it. So with that in mind, you know, with those forums open, you get investors and stuff like that. So that's a lot of the things that I would be looking into, and creating some type of hub like that where you can go to one centralized location, and, you know, I'm talking about, you know, good reading material, you know, even movies, you know, forums where, you know, folks can get together, have conversations about different stuff. So that's definitely in the works. So obviously we're in your office right now at LaSalle High School.
Yep.
So it's funny because we're in a weird position, like we were talking, I think I was talking to you about it before, where the oldest baby boomer, I think, turned 50. The youngest baby boomer, I think, turned 50.
Okay.
And then there's a gap between 50 and about 35, which is our age.
Okay.
Okay. And then, damn, I put our age out there. I feel old.
Sorry, just keep going. Maybe they didn't hear it.
Okay. So from 35 on to about, I want to say like 15, 14, I call what they call Gen X. Okay. So we have the best of both worlds, I feel, and we have the worst of both worlds. And if you're in my age group, you know who Sally Mae is, point blank.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Well, that ain't my girlfriend, but she calls me like she is.
Yeah, I hear you. So we know who Sally Mae is. We know about 30-year mortgages, FHA loans, and all that type of stuff, where they don't teach the kids. You know, our parents were brainwashed to, you know, go to school, get a good education, get a job,
right,
have a family, that whole, you know, scenario. And I feel like I want to show the younger generation, and it's not too late for our generation, that path is not 100%, you know, and saying that that's going to work out for you.
Yeah, I understand that for sure.
So being an educator, as you are, being a mentor, as you are, what's your view of how important college education is today?
Man, I want to keep my job, so education is very important. No, it really is, though. And I go through things myself. I'm like, did I need to go to college to do this and do that? Yeah. But yes, I did. You know why? Because it really, I don't know if this is the angle you were taking, but college teaches you about life. It allows you to go off by yourself. You have to learn how to budget. You know, you have to learn how to be responsible, wake up for class. You got to have your reports ready and stuff like that. So I think college is very necessary, very necessary. Now, my other aspect about it is that you have to find a way to do it where you don't have Sally Mae on your back.
Right.
So again, that's part of my passion. So if I'm helping kids get into college, they're getting scholarships. They're going for free. Yeah. You can go to college for free and come out and start your business if you want to. Right. But I think college is very important. I really do.
I tend to disagree.
Okay. Fair enough.
I think college is very important. Don't get it wrong. Education is very important. And if it's your deal to go to college and that's what your parents want and that's what you want, by all means, get your education. But I just feel there's so much information on the internet. You can teach
absolutely.
yourself so much on the internet. To go to college, and college is getting expensive every year. I mean, I think LaSalle is what?
We don't even need to talk about it. It's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
So, you know, they want you to go to school, get hooked up with all kinds of loans.
Right.
You know, if you're not good enough to be an athletic scholarship or, you know, academic scholarship, you got to pay that all out of pocket. And you come out, you know, looking for a job that might pay you, you know,
a fraction
40,
of,
you know, 40K.
What you owe.
But you have, what, 150K in loans? Like, that system is...
The system is definitely skewed. I mean, there has to be...
it's got to be, yeah.
Something's got to be fixed there.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to be fixed because that's just the way, you know, our, you know, pretty much our foundation is built.
Right.
But that's what you're doing.
Right.
Your entrepreneurship is driving a different generation to think outside the box.
Yeah, that's true.
So I definitely want to bring a lot more awareness of that. So now that you have your nonprofit and your LLC, and you've been a success for about 6 years, you know.
Well, I didn't start physically until maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
So you've been arcing up for about the last 3 years.
That's what it feels like, yes.
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
So as you see things kind of changing in your business platform, do you feel like you think you're more still trying to brand Ace? Or do you think now it's like, okay, I can really make money now?
Am I still trying to brand it as in like bring awareness to it?
Correct. And then, but now as you see the revenue coming in, it's like, okay, can I make this revenue pop bigger? Like now, is money more of a driver because now the money's starting to kind of come in a little bit more steady?
You know what's funny? All right, so the revenue from training is not like, it's not quit your job, you know what I mean, money. I think it can be, but it's a balance that I want to make sure that I have, because there's people out there that are strictly chasing the money, and kids don't get quality coaching. So that happens a lot, and people are out there, oh, I train, don't do this and don't do that with this person, but I am 100% into making sure my kids are getting better. So it's a balance that I'm still trying to figure out. I mean, they say that sweet spot is like 3 and 4 years when you have your own business. So I really do feel like I'm there. I try to make sure the integrity is, well, not make sure, integrity is always the first thing for me. So I make sure I treat my guys right, treat the families right. They understand me, they know what I'm about, and I think it'll continue to grow. So if it grows to something where it's my full-time job, that's the dream. You know what I mean? That's the dream. So if that happens, then I'll definitely be welcome in that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So as you were talking about that, we got to talk about time. You know, how valuable is time? So as an entrepreneur, could you kind of explain, you know, what you've seen, how your biggest asset is time, and how do you manage that, juggling both being, you know, trying to, you know, push your Ace LLC business, but also, you know, your full-time job?
Right. Yeah. So I mean, a lot of people that train, they have. So a lot of people have a job and they train in their off time. So it's definitely something that you have to make sure you focus on. My day job. I focus on my day job, but I also make sure I take care of Jack, John, and Steve, you know, during the time that they need it.
Right.
The good thing about what I do is it's football. So football during the season is, you know, if I'm working as a teacher, it's good as an educator, you know what I mean? Because during the season, those guys don't train as much. So now I'm visually watching the guys film, critiquing, and sometimes we'll have some makeup sessions where I teach the guys, you know, to keep them sharp during the year.
Right.
And then the spring, there's enough time for me to train guys. A lot of guys do different sports, so I kind of juggle in and out of training and making sure that they can go to their other sports but still get the training that they need. But time, I've learned time is so valuable, and you really have to deal with people who value your time, who value what your product is, because if they value that, then they understand. They don't try to, they don't try to make you bend over backwards to come train them or whatever the case is. They'll come to you. Right. So I'm fortunate. I've gotten to the point where people are like, hey, we know, it's kind of tough to get out here. We'll either pay you more to come to us, or we'll make it to you. So I think I have to still understand, or we in my company, we have to make sure that we balance our time and make sure it's used wisely, because not only for us, but for our clients, because we might miss a guy if I'm doing individual training and I'm not really thinking about the other people. There's other people that I'm missing out on. So I have a good mix of group training and individual or private training.
Cool. And thank you for taking the time to do the interview.
Oh man, yeah, absolutely. Now you're on wife time now, so you got to talk to her about that.
Love you, Terry.
Oh man.
So, more talking about the business. So now that you can look back and see your trial by error, the peers that have helped you along the way, mentors. What are kind of like your top 3 things you would do now if you were starting all over again? How would you go about building a brand again?
You need to have a peer group. I think that's very important when you're dealing with your own business, being an entrepreneur. Having a peer group and a mentor. Mm-hmm. So I think if I had to start all over again, I would try to find somebody who was a constant mentor, and I would have to find people that were doing what I'm doing or have done it for a while, and like really stick to those people. But I was fortunate to have somebody who was doing it point me in the right direction. Cool. They're like, look, dude, your time is more valuable. You need to charge X, Y, and Z. Like people will have to value it. And from the beginning to now, I've been able to grow, and it's really, attributed to the people I met in the beginning. But if I could, I would have tried to network a little bit bigger in the beginning. So that way I know piece there, piece there, piece there. I can go here for those pieces.
That's when that forum come into play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So I follow a guy named Gary Vaynerchuk, and he's a big entrepreneur. Oh
yeah, I just recently, not too long ago, started following him.
Yeah, and he's raw. But he has this term of what they call white space, and white space is what's going to happen within the next 3 or 4 years, because he feels as a good business owner you should always kind of try to stay ahead of the curve.
That's true. So
what do you think in your respective field that doesn't exist now is going to exist maybe 3 years down the road? And it might be tough because you're in you're a trainer, right? But
yeah, so it's not really technology driven or something like that. But there's definitely things that make a difference. I think the connection between trainers and college coaches, I think that's going to be the next big thing, because I think if you have a relationship with the college coaches, then you're kind of in a position where they trust you and you have the top guys that you can work with. Because the NCAA has, and that's the college, the ruling body of the college, has all the types of rules that keep people, unless you're physically on the staff, from being involved with those guys. So I only get a limited time with my college guys. Okay. But hopefully there will be a way to to break that down so that there's more time of training my college guys. There's now virtual reality. Yeah, I know that blew your mind when I said that. I saw it in your eyes. Yeah, there's virtual reality. They do it at Stanford. A couple of NFL teams do it. Wow. So they can actually, put it on and you can see the defense. You can look left and right. So I'll put it on my Instagram so you can see me using it. But it's pretty cool. So there are a few things that future-wise I definitely need to start focusing on and making sure I can piece it all together.
So you were talking about some of your college guys. So I want to, kind of move the focus from, entrepreneurship to to like our community, young men trying to become men and being mentors. And honestly, I really think you're starting to roll yourself and being an inspirer, a mentor, a peer, a bigger brother, but what I call, an ambassador. You're starting to really get that niche, I think, under you. So, and especially with everything going on in the community, the world, it's been hashed on, God knows how many times, the police brutality, racism, and so forth and so forth. So, as a mentor and an entrepreneur, you have to be selective who you keep close into your circle. So, how do you drive, those same concepts to your young guys?
Man, and that's something I'm passionate about. Because not only do I want to train guys to be physically able to handle any situation on the field, I want them to mentally be able to handle the stuff off the field.
Right.
Because if they don't, then they're going to get themselves in trouble.
Yeah.
And the stuff that's going on right now is not right in so many different aspects.
Yeah.
And it's not one side or the other. I think it's like people aren't trying to understand each other. So I'm sorry, I'm starting getting into that.
Yeah.
But for my guys personally, I think that there is an emphasis that you have to put on being your own man. The quarterback position itself is a position that you got all the pressure, you get all the praise, you get all the blame.
Right.
So with all of those things comes a lot of outside distractions. You get people Twitter and Instagram bashing you for a bad game, and then people jumping on the bandwagon when you do well.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure your circle is people that are focused, that understand, like, we're here for school too, we're here for the team, we're here for our families. So let's make sure we look out for each other and don't allow each other to get into bad situations.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a lot. I mean, I can go on for a long time about the different things that the guys that I teach them that they have to focus on. But like I said, the main thing is being their own man so that they can make the right decisions.
We talk about it all the time, man. All the time. So as you do talk about that and how to be mentally strong and physically strong, how do you think, sports can be utilized to push that concept on in our community, especially for the guys that come from Price Street, come from the hood, come from G-Town, come from Uptown, come from North Philly, and they ain't got nothing but bad things around us. I was talking to shout out my man Mikey White behind the camera there. He was telling me how he was shooting a film for a screenplay, and his right hand man got down right in front of him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so with those type of circumstances, because you run into kids like that, and they got all the talent in the world.
Yep.
So how can you use sports to really drive them to become better men today?
Well, I think the key, I know part of it was me saying they have to be their own man.
Right.
And understanding what being your own man means. That means not being afraid to say no to your buddies. And this is the key that I always tell my guys. If you want to know how the people around you are the right people, if you tell them your dreams and they try to help you towards them, then those are the people you want to be around.
True.
If they don't want to help you, or if they do anything that might hinder you, like, yo, bro, let's go skip practice to go do this. Or if you say, like, oh, I got to go to practice, and they try to talk you out of it, those aren't your homeboys.
Right.
Those are the guys that you can cut loose and you can go back home and be by yourself if that's the case. Because those are the guys that are going to bring you down. And you have to be strong because those are your friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So a lot of times it's who you grow up with. But you kind of got to phase them out a little bit. And you don't have to be rude about it. Like, I can't talk to you because you told me to do this, or you're not helping me with my dream. But you might miss a phone call here and there, like, because if anybody really cares about you, they don't want to put you in a bad situation.
Right.
And I don't care who they are. If they can be the roughest dude on the street, if he cares about you, and I mean, it's happened. Like, no, Abe, like, no, you go home. You cool. Like, you don't need to be involved in this. You know what I mean? Like, guys going to fight and things like that. So, I mean, I think that's 100 proof. Like, if you have somebody that is not doing, if they're not adding to your value, or if they're not adding value to your life or your situation or what you want to do, then you got to learn how to cut them out.
Cool. So, this is kind of a tough question that's coming up next, because it's still centered around, I want to bring a little bit of awareness, of what's going on today, and, the racism and things that are going in our neighborhood and community. But like, let's use that example where you said you had, you might have an athlete, who had a bad game and they're getting bashed on social media, and the boys are chiming in and everybody's going hard on him. In a performance-based market, how, and it's a stereotypic-based market too. How do you drive equality in your athletes? Meaning, just for example, I'm a receiver and I have, a Caucasian guy in front of me. I'm already thinking, he can't stick me. He's white. You know what I mean? He can't run as fast as me. He can't jump as high as me. You see all different, types of people from backgrounds, all different types of levels.
Socioeconomic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you definitely deal with that.
So how do you drive them to keep them level-headed and not even think, quote unquote, black and white?
I mean, I think football is like the great equalizer.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, your best buddy might not be from your same hood, or might not look like you, race, religion, whatever the case may be. And that's your best boy. So I think that's the beauty of the game of football, because you need everybody to be on the same page when it's 11 on 11 and somebody's trying to take your head off. So I think that's the value of football specifically. When it comes to dealing with race, I think there are things that people deal with where they feel like they might be mistreated by a coach, or they might feel like there's an opponent that might have said something to them. It's important to have self-confidence. Your self-esteem and self-confidence, understanding who you are. If you understand who you are, you don't have to stoop down to somebody else's level to prove who you are to them. Right. And I think that takes care of a lot of things, because you start to realize, like, all right, I'm Vernard Abrams. I'm a black male. My life is different than John's. So I can't compare myself. That's another thing, comparing yourself to other people. As long as you go through life and you try to do your best to keep on your path and not going off, whether it be to compare yourself to somebody over here or to compare yourself to somebody else's path, then I think you have a good thing going. But once you start comparing yourself to other people's path, then that's self-destruction right there. Correct. Because you're like looking like, oh, why this guy is getting this, recognition? Why this guy he's not better than me, or whatever the case is. Once you focus on yourself and try to learn who you are and learn what you've worked for and what you deserve, I mean, nobody owes you anything. But what I mean by what you deserve is you grind it all off season for something, then you don't let anybody take it from you. And that kind of comes out into the play that helps elevate people's game. Did I answer your question?
No, you did. No, you killed it.
Yeah,
you didn't answer it. You killed it.
All right. Well, there's just so many different aspects, especially for football. There's so many different avenues that you can go for being on the field. How things come together socially. And I say this all the time. You can show the guys a route on the page. But if you don't explain why they're running that route, they're going to stray away from it. But if you tell the guys, look, you run this route because there's another route going over the top, they understand, like, oh, so I have to make sure I do my job. Right. And if everybody, each individual piece does their job, that's how you win games, that's how you're successful, that's how you get your shine, things like that.
All right, we're going to switch it up because we're getting close to the end here. So we're going to do a little rapid fire 2-minute drill.
I'm ready.
All right, you ready? Favorite football movie?
Oh, Remember the Titans. Oh, can I take that back or no?
No.
All right.
Most influential book?
One. I think it's called The One. It's about the reason, like the one reason why you do things.
Best advice anyone ever gave you?
Have faith. I try to do something positive, but most of the time I end up checking Instagram.
If you could have coffee with anybody for 20 minutes to pick their brain, who would it be?
Dead or alive?
Dead or alive?
Martin Luther King.
Offense or defense?
Offense.
Ooh! Favorite coach?
I don't want to say that.
Yeah, you got to. Favorite coach?
Favorite coach? Wait. That coach me or in
Yes,
general?
it's your favorite coach. You're killing me.
Archie Stalka.
Oh, Arch. Worst coach.
No, I'm not naming. I don't know. There's some guys. No, there's a lot of guys.
All right, I'll let you slide on that one. No, worst coach. Let's go.
That's tough, bro.
Worst coach.
I can't think. I'm seeing selective memory.
I'm pausing 2 minutes. A timeout. Timeout on the play. Worst coach.
All right.
Name him. Name him.
Coach Jerry.
There we go. My man.
Messed up, bro. Messed up.
Favorite football player?
Ooh, Randy Moss.
Favorite non-football player that's an athlete?
That's non-football.
Non-football as an athlete, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's a tough one. I don't know, bro.
Man, this 2 minute drill is
I'm
not going well.
I'm not driving incomplete pass.
All right, yeah, well, incomplete pass, we'll pause. Superman or Batman?
Superman.
Gatorade or Powerade?
Gatorade.
Jessica Alba or Scarlett Johansson?
Scarlett Johansson.
Sanaa Lathan or Nia Long?
Ooh. Sanaa Lathan.
Evan Mendez or Salma Hayek?
You trying to get me in trouble, man?
Yes, absolutely.
Salma Hayek.
Favorite male actor?
Will Smith.
Power or Empire? The show. The shows.
You know, I've never seen Power, so I'm gonna say Empire.
Okay. Walking Dead or Game of Thrones?
I never saw either one of those.
Oh my God.
I heard Game of Thrones is good though. So.
All right. Song you listen to get you amped?
It's a lot of songs right now. Started from the bottom, now we're here.
All right. We gotta play that back too.
Yeah.
Better athlete, LeBron James or Russell Westbrook?
LeBron James. LeBron James.
And who's a better athlete, Vernard Abrams or James Jefferson?
Come on. Come on.
LaSalle or Pratt?
LaSalle, dude.
Michigan or Ohio State?
Ooh, Ohio State.
Philly or Miami?
Philly.
Best cheesesteak place?
Ooh, Larry's.
Old City or Northern Liberties?
Ooh, now Northern Liberty.
Michael Vick or Donovan McNabb?
Vic all day.
Carson Wentz or Sam Bradford?
Ooh, see, I liked Bradford until he did that thing with his contract, and I'm not mad at him for doing it business-wise.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Bradford.
Go with Bradford. I like that. Until we come again for next month, shout out to my man Mikey. Shout out to my man Berg. This is Moss Money, Moss Enterprise, Moss Entrepreneurship, inspiring, rising, enterprising.